and welcome to Nationwide. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Today, we'll bring you the latest stories making headlines across the country. From politics and business to sports. Stay tuned for full details, though it's an abridged version of the news. For starters, the federal government says Nigeria's security challenges are peculiar in nature and cannot be allowed to overwhelm the full instruments of the state by containing the perpetrators and their sponsors. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris said this during a World Press Conference on the United States threat of military action in the country's territory. Mohammed explains that several arrests and rescues have been made, including motivation to security forces to completely address the menace and give everyone a sense of dignity. The minister appreciates the cooperation of the U.S. government's intervention in terms of military hardware and urges journalists to report professionally, devoid of undeserving media attention to terrorist groups. Elsewhere, Vice President Kashim Shettima is in Brazil to represent President Bola Tinubu at the 30th session of the United Nations Climate Change Conference, tagged COP30 in Belém from November 6th to 7th. The summit, convened by Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, focuses on climate action and implementation with special emphasis on adaptation, forests, biodiversity, and climate justice. During the conference, Vice President Shettima will join world leaders, development partners, and business executives at the General Plenary, where he is expected to present Nigeria's climate action address. He will also participate in the launch of the Tropical Forest Forever Fund, attend high-level roundtables on climate, nature, and energy transition, and engage in discussions focusing on nationally determined contributions and climate financing. Before returning to Nigeria, the Vice President will visit Brasilia for a reciprocal meeting with Brazilian Vice President Geraldo Alckmin, following his earlier visits to Nigeria in June. The Senate is pushing for the promotion of green mobility in Nigeria as it passes second reading bill that seeks transition to electric vehicles. The proposed legislation, sponsored by Senator Orji Uzor-Kalu, seeks transformation of the automobile and energy sectors through partnerships, innovation, and technology transfer. Of course, we expect the video of that interaction to come in our subsequent bulletins. Let's tell you that the Minister of State Petroleum Resources Gas, Ekperikpe Ekpo, says the nation will not decarbonize to poverty, but will instead harness its vast natural gas reserves as a bridge to sustainable development. Ekperikpe Ekpo insists that amid evolving global energy market complexity, Nigeria, like other countries, is reshaping strategies to sustain economic resilience. Lydia Sampson reports from Abu Dhabi.
Speaking at the ministerial panel at ADIPEC 2025, ECHO emphasized that Nigeria's priority is achieving an equitable energy transition that eradicates energy poverty while spurring industrial growth. He noted that with over 200 trillion cubic feet of gas reserves, the country will leverage gas to diversify its energy mix, boost clean power generation, and enable a just, inclusive pathway to net zero without compromising economic progress.
In Nigeria and for Africa, we cannot decarbonize to poverty. Rather, we should be allowed to use realities of our own nation to develop into providing energy and guarantee energy security to the people, because industrialization is key. Energy security or energy transition should be sequential.
The panel agreed that the global energy industry is entering a new phase defined by recalibration rather than acceleration, as governments seek to reconcile sustainability targets with realities of affordability, access, and security. He revealed that Nigeria is strengthening domestic capacity and pursuing pragmatic cooperation across borders. From Abu Dhabi, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Now, the Nigerian Immigration Service is set to introduce a single travel emergency passport step to replace the current emergency travel certificate, ETC. A statement by the service public relations officer, Akinshola Akinlabi, notes that the Controller General of Immigration, Kemi Nandap, disclosed this at the joint thematic meeting of the Khartoum, Rabat and Niamey process, co-hosted by Nigeria and France. Akinshola adds that the new step document will serve as a temporary travel passport for Nigerians abroad whose passports are expired, lost or stolen, allowing secure and verifiable return to the country through designated embassies and consulates. This measure, he says, is part of ongoing reforms to strengthen identity, enhance border governance and align Nigeria's migration systems with global standards. The meeting brought together key stakeholders from ECOWAS, African Union, the European Union, NAPTIP, NCFRMI and other African and European countries to boost cooperation against illegal migration, smuggling and human trafficking while promoting safe, orderly and regular migration. A human rights activist, Omoyele Sowore, has narrowly escaped issuance of bench warrant against him by the Federal High Court in Abuja following his failure to appear before the court for arraignment on defamation. During proceedings, counsel to the Department of State Service, DSS, Akinlolu Kehinde, was a senior advocate of Nigeria, prayed the court to issue a bench warrant against Sowore for being absent in court without justification, having been served the charge and hearing notice from the last adjourned date. He said the action of Sowore staying away from the court despite being served with the charge is an affront to the sanctity of the court and must be treated with punishment such behavior deserved. The prosecution counsel said that Showore's contempt was disturbing and unacceptable because no lawyer appeared for him as required by law. The presiding judge, Justice Mohammed Umar, however, noted that the order for bench warrants will not subsist for now following the submission of the second defendant, X Corporation, that they have not been served, particularly the charge sheet, even though they received hearing notice. The trial judge then directed that all parties should be duly served and then adjourned the case to December 2, 2025 for arraignment. All right, from there, let's cross over to the Center of Excellence and Awal in our Lagos Network Center is our first port of call on Nationwide.
AG, glad to have you join us in Lagos. We begin with a report on security. Conducive learning environment with modern infrastructure and digital equipment will go a long way in restoring the pride, professionalism and confidence of security personnel in Nigeria. Chairman National Economic Committee, NEC, Governor Peter Mba of Enugu State re-emphasized this during an oversight visit to security training institutions in Lagos. Diana Ajale reports.
The National Economic Council Committee, led by Governor Peter Mba of Enugu State, also had Dakpo Abiodun of Ogun State and former Inspector General of Police, and Kali Baba Usman, who is the Secretary of the Committee on the Oversight visit.
The status of
this move is to ascertain the needs of the security training institutions with the aim to improve training facilities across the country, aligning with President Bola Tinubu's vision for a trillion naira economy and enhanced security architecture.
We also have with us the consultants. These consultants are going to do a deep dive. They are going to do a deep assessment of what we need to rebuild, what we need to re-equip, and what we need to sustain these training institutions.
Police College Training School, Ikeja, which was built since 1948, was the fourth port of call in need of overhaul by National Economic Council Committee.
The President has approved the recruitment of 30,000 policemen and women. We know that they need to be imbued with the evolving 21st century skills.
Following President Bola Tinubu's directive to deliver reports within 30 days, Chairman Peter Mba said the committee has been divided into 2 subcommittees to ensure timely and effective completion of its task. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Marine and waterways have been identified as major routes used by drug peddlers and smugglers to move illicit drugs and other contraband items within the country. Customs Area Controller, Western Marine Command Patrick Ntadi, disclosed this during his visit to the Palace of Akran of Badagry Kingdom to seek collaboration in checking illegal activities on creeks in the western part of the country. Bolaji Akim completes the story.
With the identification of creeks as the major means of distributing illicit drugs and the involvement of youths in unwholesome activities, Custom Area Controller Western Marine Command Patrick Ntadi said the influence of royal fathers in eradicating what he described as the destroyer of the nation's future will help in winning the war. The visit to the Akran of Badagry Kingdom, the Weno Aholu Menetoi I, is to seek the support of the royal father and his chiefs in educating youths on the dangers of engaging in drugs distribution and other activities that are inimical to the nation's economy and dangerous to their future.
They have a lot of influence on their youths. Our aim is to identify the area where they can really talk to their youth for us. And then besides, these people, they know the area more than we do, so we expect them to give us some intelligence with which we will work towards being efficient in our own job.
Speaking on behalf of the Akran, some of the chiefs praised the controller's efforts in checking illegal activities in his area of responsibility and promised to give every needed support in the quest for a safe and sane society.
I would like you to follow it up with constant visits as you have promised, and to extend it to nook and corners of Badagry, because Baba cannot do it alone.
We know our people, the challenges they have and so on. So in the course of doing their duties, they need the collaboration of the palace.
The area controller appealed to the youths to engage in meaningful and legitimate adventures that will not only bring glory to the country, but also make them proud members of their families. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues in Port Harcourt after this break. Do stay.
To Port Harcourt. The Rivers State government has opened a sexual assault referral center to provide succor to survivors of rape and gender-based violence, as well as other related cases. Governor Siminalayi Fubara, represented by Head of Service, inaugurated the center in Burukuri, Rivers State. Ijomo Ibweke reports.
The Sexual Assault and Referral Center established by the state government is to cater for victims of gender-based violence and related cases. The governor represented assured that the facility is a one-stop center that will house major players in the fight against gender-based violence.
Victims before now had no place to go to. Even when they had places to go to, they were victimized or the right judgment was not given to them. With this now, FIDA is present here, Federation of Women Lawyers, and the government is fully here. We do know that such things will not happen, but should they occur, there is a place for them to get justice.
Permanent Secretary, Minister of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation, Loretta Davis Dimpa, affirmed that establishing the center is to restore the dignity of survivors of gender-based violence and seek justice for them with the support of all stakeholders.
We are telling the people, and we are really going to go out to spread information that if you have any sexual assault case, you do not have to run helter-skelter. Just bring them to this center.
A short documentary shown at the event showcased activities of the ministry and served as an eye-opener to the countless intervention and programs to support the vulnerable children. Saddled with the responsibility of reducing the menace of gender-based violence, social welfare, in collaboration with relevant agencies, are calling on survivors of sexual assault and gender-based violence to take advantage of the center to seek help and care. Collaborators to the successes recorded in the campaign to protect survivors of gender-based violence include FIDA, Family Court, Police, NSCDC, NAPTIP, UNICEF and Ministry of Health to fast-track the activities of the center. In Port Harcourt, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 16, Oluwole Ademola, is calling on citizens and organizations to support the police to perform optimally. He made the appeal at the Police is Your Friend campaign hosted by the Rivers State Police Commissioner Olubenga Adepoju in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Emmanuel Ene reports.
The Police is Your Friend campaign is a flagship community policing initiative of the Rivers State Police Command to build trust, stronger cooperation, and promote a culture of mutual understanding with the public. At the 6th edition, AIG Zone 16 Oluwole Adenola solicited assistance of the public for effective policing.
We cannot work in silence, and that is why the administration portray the philosophy of inclusive policing, meaning that we work with all sectors of society, stakeholders, civil society, other interface institutions.
Rivers State Police Commissioner Olubenga Adepoju renewed the command's commitment to strengthening security in the state.
The impact of this interaction was multifaceted. It will not only strengthen our relationship with the public, but also provide valuable insights into the security of our community.
Awards were presented to some police officers for outstanding service and to some members of the public for their support towards policing the state. Service commanders, heads of security agencies, divisional police officers and other friends of the police were at the event. In Port Harcourt, Emmanuel Lene, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Port Harcourt. Ayo is back to you in Abuja.
Thanks so much, Jenny. Now, let's cross over from Port Harcourt to Anambra State, where the Independent National Electoral Commission plans to relocate polling units in security-threatened areas to ensure no Anambra-eligible voter is disenfranchised. Now, let's join correspondent Benson Osadebe to throw more light on what has caused this development. Benson?
Thank you very much. Anambra State has 5,720 polling units, and the election will be conducted in 5,718 polling units. The reason for the exclusion of 2 polling units is a result of the fact that no registered voters in those 2 registration centers. Meanwhile, INEC has assured that they are going to make contingency plan to move some polling units in case of security concerns to the local government election collation centers. This is to give them a lift in terms of security, to making sure that every registered voter is going to cast his ballot in the state. Meanwhile, those that are at riverine communities, that the hard-to-reach areas, have also been assured that they are going to use speedboats to move sensitive materials and personnel to their registration centers, to making sure that they cast their ballots. That is the situation here in Awka, the capital of Anambra State.
Oh, thanks so much, Benson, for that update as we continue the countdown to the election in the state. We appreciate you. Now let's move on from Anambra State to Kano State, where traditional and religious leaders have been recognized as key catalysts in the fight against gender-based violence, particularly violence affecting women and girls. This was part of major discussions at a dialogue on culture and faith held in Kano where participants emphasized the need to use cultural values and religious teachings as powerful tools to promote respect, protection and equality for all. Yohana Suhasan has the details.
Gender-based violence is a global phenomenon where many women and girls across some countries still suffer in silence due to cultural and social pressures. To address this, religious and traditional leaders gathered in Kano for a dialogue on faith and culture, seeking ways to end GBV through teachings rooted in Islam and Christianity.
First of all, they have a moral authority. We all rely on them when it comes to community issues. Secondly, the religious leaders have a moral authority of saying from God, the Bible says this, the Quran says this.
Our university established a Center for Gender Studies. We attach very high premium to women and girls' rights.
Traditional rulers at the event pledged to work with both faith groups to protect victims and promote justice within communities. Yohana Suhasan, NTA News.
All right, let's connect with Fatima in Kano. Who will tell us more about what we intend to achieve by the time we fuse tradition and religion in the fight against gender-based violence.
Yeah, every hour in Nigeria, a Nigerian woman or girl is being abused. And it is not because, and she's not seen, she's not being heard, and she's not even protected. Gender-based violence in Nigeria is shaped by our culture and religion. And these two institutions, when infused together, they can come up with harmful practices. That is why some stakeholders at Bayero University came together so that they will find a way, they will use this religion and culture to advocate for equality in this regard. Also, at Bayero University, they established a confidential corner. This corner is where such issues will be discussed. And when these things are being discussed in confidence, they stay there in that corner. It will not be taken anywhere. The only thing is that they will refer these survivors to some experts to deal with such issues. It is hoped that when this corner takes shape, all the women and girls in Nigeria, especially in this community, they will be able to live free and protected.
This is novel in terms of bringing religion and culture fused together in this fight, and we expect positive outcomes to ensure that women and girls are safer on a daily basis. Thanks so much for your contribution. Okay, now from Kano State, we go to the seat of Caliphate, and now Sokoto Network Center, Sadia, will give us the next set of reports.
Many thanks, Ayo. It's Asma Unot Sadia. Good evening and welcome to Nationwide from Sokoto. The ongoing rehabilitation of 9 general hospitals and 244 primary healthcare centers embarked by Sokoto State Government will redefine healthcare delivery and bring quality medical services closer to the people. Commissioner of Health Dr. Farouk Umar Abubakar stated this during an inspection visit to Kebe, Ilela, Gwadabawa and Dogondaji General Hospitals, where renovation work has reached advanced stages of completion. Abdullahi Umar Ilelu reports.
The ongoing rehabilitation of health facilities across Sokoto State is part of the government's renewed commitment to transform the healthcare system and ensure that every citizen, no matter their location, enjoys access to modern and efficient medical services. Commissioner for Health Dr. Farooq Umar Abubakar, who inspected some projects in some local government areas, commended the contractors for maintaining high standards and working strictly in line with approved specifications, noting that government will continue to prioritize quality in all ongoing projects. The expectations of the government from the communities is to take ownership of the facilities when completed for the benefits of present and future generations.
Work that has commenced in NS is quite interesting and encouraging, because we notice the contractor is strictly adhering to the bill of quantity. And we notice massive and adequate replacement using quality materials. We also advise where there is need to improve.
The site engineer representing the Ministry of Works, Abubakar Muhammad, attributed the progress achieved to effective supervision, assuring that all the facilities will soon be ready for public use.
The contractor has followed all the procedure that he's supposed to follow, and the work is okay, alhamdulillah. He is part of those people that finish the work in time.
Residents applauded the gesture, pledging to protect and maintain the structures for the overall well-being of their people. In Sokoto, Abdullah Umar Ilalu, NTA News.
To complement the Renewed Hope initiative of Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, dozens of women in Sokoto State have been empowered with modern home farming skills for the production of crops to ensure food security, promote economic independence and development of their communities. The program, at the instance of Small Home Farmers Development Initiative, is designed to strengthen women's capacity to contribute meaningfully to Nigeria's agricultural transformation in the Renewed Hope era. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa has more.
224 women participated in the Small Home Farmers Development Initiative training in Sokoto State. The program provides participants with the innovation and techniques required for the cultivation of Irish potatoes and other crops using bags or sacks, an approach that makes effective use of limited space and resources. Participants say they gain practical knowledge that will help them become self-reliant and improve the well-being of their families.
It's about home farming, it's about growing cash crops, spices, herbs in your homes, in sacks, which adds value to what we do in the home. I'll put it into practice, inshallah. Whenever they are going to come back, the next time they are coming back, inshallah, we'll give them a lot of things that will show that Sokoto State have moved forward.
Their focus is to boost productivity, income generation, improving household nutrition, and promoting women's leadership as well as decision-making in agricultural activities in the country.
Aquatic farming is a new innovation, a new technology where you reduce cost of feeding animal feeds, example, fish, chicken, and so on. And we have already given the training, as you can see.
We want to make it such that we are even exporting to Nigeria and the rest.
The initiative is expected to serve as a platform to build a network of small-scale women farmers capable of contributing their quota towards achieving food security and community-driven agricultural practices that will fast-track socio-economic development of Nigeria. The event reaches its climax with the presentation of hybrid seeds and certificates to the trainees. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nawaba, NTA News.
And that is our contribution from Sokoto. Is back to Ayodeji in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
All right, thanks so much, Asmal, for the contribution from the seat of Caliphate. Let's pause for some messages. Nationwide will be back in a moment. You're welcome back. And our scavenging, which has become a ready means of livelihood for many, especially the young people in recent times, is gradually assuming a concerning dimension in Edo State. Now, my colleague, Ifoma Okafor, is there to tell us what efforts have been made to ensure that actions of these scavengers are well treated.
Thank you so much. This is Benin, and yes, the government in collaboration with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps are coming together to strategize and find a new way to regulate the activities of scavengers and scrap pickers in Benin and the East environ, such as the government and that civil defense have planned to map out a designated area for them to do their businesses. They also want to start registration and licenses of these people. And also the government is trying to take it further to State House of Assembly so that it can also be backed under law, because before now the activities, the excesses of these scavengers and scrap pickers are really worrisome, especially where it concerns picking. You see most of the places inside the metropolis, you see them uprooting and making away with manhole and other state infrastructure. So the government is really doing a lot to find out that, to make sure that their excesses are curtailed and also regulate their operations in the states.
Well, Ifoma, thanks so much for the update and your contribution out there. Time now to go over to our Enugu Network Center, and Comfort is next.
Are you? Aside electricity and water, good road network is another basic amenity that endears citizens to government. The federal government road project in part of Ebonyi State, residents say, are all life-threatening. And Chinaza John takes a look at some ongoing road projects under the Renewed Hope Agenda initiative.
The 51.3 kilometers Ugape-Abomege-Okmosi Road, a 30 minutes drive from the state capital, connects Ebonyi State with Cross River and other South-South states. The road, just like the Enugu-Abakaliki-Ogoja Road and Amasiri-Okmosi-Uburu-Mpu, Ishiago, Enugu and Port Harcourt Expressway, previously in deplorable states, are now wearing new looks with positive traveling experiences by the people.
The road is very, very good. It's his movement, and compared to what we have before.
It's a very good thing. Like now, I can drive from Okmosi to here. I thank the federal government.
Other projects visited are the flyover bridge at Onweke Junction, linking the 121.64 kilometers superhighway connecting Onweke, Ezambu, Isheke and Mbeke, bridge construction at Ndibe Beach for easy access to Cross River State, as well as the new bridge at Akmoha River. These projects for the Controller of Works, Ebonyi State Office, Steve Oluwadun, shows President Tinubu's renewed vigor to provide a strong road network that will promote unity and economic stability for Nigerians.
To relieve this existing old bridge, it is discovered that the old bridge is becoming weak.
Being recorded a series of accidents here, this and that, is a very welcome development. We really appreciate federal government for this kind of gesture, remembering us.
What this means is that the whole of Nigerians, especially motorists, have not just been renewed, but actualized in Abakaliki. Chinaza John, NTA News.
Thank you, Chinaza. And that's it on from here. It's back to Ayodeji in Abuja for the continuation on Nationwide.
We appreciate you, Comfort. Back here in Abuja, President Bola Tinubu expresses a sense of loss at the passing of Major General Abdullahi Mohammed Adongba, retired governor of the defunct Benue Plateau State between 1975 and 1976, and a former chief of staff to General Olusegun Obasanjo and Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. In a statement, the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, describes General Adongba, aged 86, as one who left indelible marks on the nation's security architecture, particularly in the establishment of the National Security Organization, the precursor to the State Security Services, the National Intelligence Agency and the Defense Intelligence Agency, which spanned decades, marked by distinguished contributions to Nigeria's stability and governance. President Tinubu commiserates with the family, government and people of Kwara State, the Nigerian Armed Forces and all who mourn this distinguished son of Nigeria. And that is Nationwide. I'd like to thank you for your time on behalf of the entire production crew. This is the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Good evening.